I remember, for the longest time I said, I'm not getting married. Not going to do it. The more I learned about relationships, the more I said, this is crazy. Why would I want to do this to myself? Why would anyone want to do this to themselves? The amount of work that you have to do in a relationship. I said, I'm going to either be in a serial dater or I'm going to be in a relationship with someone who is okay with being a life-term partner. I was like, there's no way I'm getting married. There's no way. But then what happens? We run into the brick wall. And you meet the one that you can't live without. And so, about a few weeks into our marriage, I remember I was holding on to the edge of the bed. It was about 2 o'clock in the morning, and it was cold. And we live in Connecticut, so it's freezing up there. So somehow or another, half of the blanket was pulled off of me, and she had it. And she was, the bed it's a huge bed. It's a full king size bed. It's a huge bed. And somehow or another, her body was on top of mine. And I remember looking up into the ceiling, hanging onto the bed, freezing cold with his body on top of mine, and thinking to myself, what the hell have I done? But, it's such a beautiful thing to be in a relationship, the relationship that you're supposed to be in. I always say relationships are not supposed to be this damn hard. Dating is not supposed to be that damn hard. But when we accept and embrace things that we don't deserve, it becomes that hard. So for everybody who's like me, crazy enough to be in a relationship, we're going to talk about it today. Loving intelligently. And I've been preaching loving intelligently for years now. Because when you love, you should love freely. You should love without any boundaries at all. And the problem with a lot of the advice that's been given to women is to love like a man. Act like a lady, think like a man, move like a man, but you're not meant to love like a man. Men are very black and white. Even if you think it's gray and it's confusing, men are very black and white. And women, when they love, the feminine is like the wind. It can go left, it can go right, it can go up, it can go down. But when you try to cage that and try to love like a man, then you're only hurting yourself. So loving intelligently means making sure that everything passes through your brain first before it goes to your heart. As long as it's here, you can control it. And you know this, when you first date and you see something you don't like, he ain't the one. No, she ain't the one. But when you don't allow it to pass through that filter the way it's supposed to, and it gets to your heart, now you're at war. And it could be a month in, it could be 2 months in, it could be 3 months in, 3 years in. It depends on the deficit that you got into that relationship with. So if you get into a relationship empty, it doesn't take much for you to fall into something that you're not supposed to be in. And this is why we have to love ourselves first. We have to make sure that we have a good relationship home before we move on with someone else. Loving intelligently. Making sure that you take your brain with you wherever your heart goes. And the heart is like a child. It wants what it wants. It doesn't care if it's good for the body. It doesn't care if it's good for the mind. It doesn't care if it's good for the soul or other people in your life. It doesn't care. It just wants what it wants. And it runs after it. Give me, give me, give me. It whines. You know, when you have a baby, they do whatever it takes to get what they want. So it depends on our minds and our souls and the rest of us to make sound decisions for it. So when I think of self-love, my personal definition is giving yourself a yes when you deserve a yes, and giving yourself a no when you need a no. Some of you need a no right now. Some of you desperately need a no. But your friend can't give it to you. Your mother can't give it to you. Your father can't give it to you. Your children can't give it to you. Only you can give it to you. Some of you deserve a yes right now. And you say it's too hard. Or maybe I don't deserve that. But you do. And so it's up to you when it comes to self-love to give yourself this gift first. And then once you give yourself that gift, it all begins to come back to you. But it's the gift that we have to give ourselves.